Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 7th day of December, 2023. Thursday of the first week of Advent is also the day in which we celebrate the memorial, the remembrance of St. Ambrose, one of the great church fathers of the early church. He is instrumental in trying to understand, help us to understand initiation, especially the Eucharist, and what it means to receive the Eucharist. He writes about Mary, which is why his feast day comes before the Immaculate Conception in one way. And he also was responsible for making Augustine a bishop. Whether or not that's a good thing for some people is always in debate. So remember Augustine, remember Ambrose today, remember all of those, again, who study liturgy for in the Western Church. Ambrose shines as a great light for helping us to understand why it is that we worship and the purpose for which people are brought into faith, to understand their role, their lives as people of faith. An appropriate thing perhaps to know also today as we celebrate Ambrose, because again, in this Easter season, we are looking again at what it means to be a people who continue to hope that God will fulfill God's promises, and moving into initiation is one way of being able to begin that understanding and to come to a greater understanding and greater light of what it means to be a people of God who never doubt that God will fulfill God's promises. It is an early morning today. I am at San Diego Airport, as you can hear, getting my way to come back to Raleigh. So it was a whirlwind trip to the West Coast, and now coming back again. But in our first reading today, we have, again, the continued proclamation by Isaiah of what it means for God to be victorious, and for God to be the one who rescues, and not only rescues but reestablishes that which we desire, and that's what has been lacking in our lives. And so the idea of letting in a nation that is just, one that understands God's promises, and one that does not deny or doubt that God will fulfill God's promises. And then it goes into about what God will do, and again, casting down the mighty, and lifting up the lowly, and letting the poor trample upon those who are the oppressors and those who try to destroy and to defame the people of God, and God's own people, and God's own community that God has formed. In many ways, again, these are echoes of the Magnificat, the great poem that Mary announces, that Mary proclaims when she goes to greet Elizabeth, and when Elizabeth says that calls her blessed, and Mary recognizes herself as blessed because she knows that God will fulfill the promises of Isaiah. And when she speaks of casting the mighty from their thrones and lifting up the lowly, she is actually, again, furthering what it is that Isaiah was prophesying in his reading. Again, a reading that points to a God who does great things. And again, Advent is this constant reminding ourselves of a God who does great things and will never fail to do great things. In that way, today's Gospel of Matthew makes sense, because again, the great parable of those who listen to the word of God build houses upon solid rock. Those who do not listen to the word of God build houses upon sand that are washed away. Again, you want to withstand, you want to succeed, you want to be great and mighty in this world, well then listen to the word of God. Abide by the word of God. Let the word of God enrich your life, because that gives you a standing, a foundation that nothing can overturn, that nothing can destroy, that nothing can ruin. Again, another understanding of hope, another understanding of the great wonder and beauty of being a part of God's life. A life, again, that promises so many great things that are not just fantasies, that are not just ideals, they're not just hopes and dreams, but the truth of what God will fulfill in God's time. Blessed Advent continues, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.